Hi, I'm back. I don't know where I went. Okay, I think I have to say, hi, I'm back. I don't know where I went again because there's a new way to do this. Facebook has changed things and, well, I don't know exactly what happened. But here I am. So I think the last thing I was talking about is that place within us where we know that we are more than we think we are. It is the wave discovering it is the water, all of it, not just itself, but part of something much larger. And it is a place within us where we know that we are with God, not in the sense that the wave is with the water, but of God, as the wave is of the water. The same thing, a drop of ocean water contains the ocean and is contained by the ocean. It's the same thing. It's almost easier for us to say what is not there in this secret place. There's no fear, no evil, no doubt, no confusion, no sense ever of separation. So the question then becomes, I think, for most of us, where and how do you find this secret place of the Most High? Though we may look everywhere and anywhere, and over the years I have looked a lot in many places, ultimately we find the secret place of the Most High, the miracle place, paradise, if you will, is within. And we find it not by searching, but by returning to the place we came from, as T.S. Eliot would say, and knowing it for the first time. By being still. The secret place is a quiet place, a pool of serenity within each of us, where we can meet and commune with Spirit, our God self. To reach the secret place, we must first find a place apart. We must allow sufficient time and space, physically, mentally, and emotionally, to keep our appointment with the infinite. And having created a space in mind and time for our experience, we have to turn our thoughts within and begin to pray. Not for a specific thing. It's not a pray for. It's rather a pray with. To open the lines of communication between your mind and your heart and the presence of God that is within you. You can't push this. There is nothing to strive for or to make happen. There is only to be still and listen for the still small voice, not the voice of the committee that is so often taking up residence in our minds. And it may not speak in a voice, but if you listen with your heart and spirit, if you pay attention to your feelings, your intuitive knowing, your inner guidance, that will affirm your divinity. Listen. You don't need to talk at God. When the experience feels complete, be grateful. And state your gratitude for what has transpired and what is now being created. Be patient. The more you are willing to sit quietly in the silence, the closer you come to the secret place. there's nothing to rush, nothing to force. Only a conscious connection to make with that which is waiting for you to arrive. If you keep going in that direction, you will get there. You know, as a child, I tried what I thought was prayer, which was mostly a pattern of beseeching a God out there, up there, to change things here. Mostly it didn't work. After some independent studying, I tried transcendental meditation to find peace and hopefully God. It did help with the frustration, and I was definitely a better person for it. But I still didn't feel connected to anything. Sometime later, I found a metaphysical church and started the next step in my formal spiritual education. And I learned to unite meditation and prayer and the difference between the two. In the early days, I experienced moments of real connectedness. And through those, felt my consciousness and my life shifting. I could see things changing for the better. And I could see how everything that I had seemed to be bad really was a launching pad for something better. What I also got to see was that the more I looked within for God, the better my life became. And the more I tried to make things happen, the more they seemed to fall apart. After a fairly long period, I'm not always a quick learner, of trying to make things happen, I finally took a time out. And I headed to the Redwoods, my favorite place to get back to spiritual reality. For several days, I went to a beautiful spot by the river and waited for God to show up. But nothing seemed to be happening, other than that I was relaxing and it was a beautiful spot and I was getting a lot of journaling done. About the third day, however, I was running out of time and patience, and so I said out loud, "God, where are you?" And a still small something within said, "I'm right here, waiting for you to show up. Where are you?" In that moment, I realized that although I was sitting in a beautiful spot with a great intention, the better part of my mind was still back at work, sorting, trying to fix, trying to put in, trying to take out, trying to make things work. So I said to the something, "I'm trying to get here. Please make the way clear." I surrendered. And I've got to tell you, I looked around and everything seemed to change. In the most perfect stillness I have ever experienced, the connection was made. I will never, ever forget that day, or the peace that I found once I arrived. I live in my own little paradise now. And it really isn't very hard to make the connection when I step outside and look around. But I have found the same connection since then. In a busy airport or a hospital room, as long as I remember that God is always there. waiting for me to get my act together and remember and arrive. When we arrive, we are in the secret place. Secret because there's no map and no one else can take us to it. We've got to find it ourselves. You know, there's a world of difference between days in which I take the time to sit in silence and days in which I rush into the stuff of the world. When I begin my day with centering and meditation, I continue that day in the awareness of a powerful presence within and a peace that gratefully passes understanding. I'm not overwhelmed by what may show up in my day because I am grounded, centered in that which is always greater than any circumstance. I'm at peace, no matter what occurs. I and the spirit within me know that everything that presents itself is part of the outpicturing of my prayers and is in my life only for the highest good, regardless of how it appears. God within is grounded, creative, solid, peaceful, serene. So I needn't fear or stress or freak out. No, in this state of consciousness, in this conscious state of individuality, seeming miracles occur. Often. And life is good. When I rush headlong into my day, usually telling myself that I don't have enough time right now to pray, I'll get to it later, things which already have felt out of control or I would have taken the time to pray, just keep going in the wrong direction. Or at best, I feel out of control and at the effect of things all day long. It's when I realize I'm clearly stuck in my personality and feel like I have to make things happen instead of letting spirit guide me. And whatever the situation may be, we'll get to the highest good. On the best days, I remember what I forgot to do first and carve out time to pray, no matter what. To sit quietly and connect, to get to God. And you know, it turns things around every time. There are only 24 hours in a day. We structured it that way. I know that. When I take the time to pray, time expands. And everything gets done. Easily, effortlessly, and well. When I don't think there is enough time to pray, my experience is that there is rarely enough time for anything else either. Have you got a busy week ahead? Is your schedule overloaded? Pray. And create days filled with enough time and enough love and more than enough God. Enough God to fill you with peace and spiritual understanding. And may you be as consciously one with spirit as the wave is one with water. That was going to be my ending, But then I decided I'd like to finish where I started, with more of the quote from T.S. Eliot. Bear with me. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Through the unknown remembered gate, when the last of earth left to discover is that which was the beginning. At the source of the longest river, the voice of the hidden waterfall and the children in the apple tree, not known because not looked for, but heard, half heard, in the stillness between two waves of the sea. And so it goes. And so it is. Thanks to those of you that tracked me down. I'm very grateful. I have no idea what happened. Absolutely no idea what happened. Facebook does strange things. But we'll work it out. I'll get this all figured out at some point in my life, I'm sure. So, enlightenment is the moment when the wave realizes it is the water. It's not saying anything changes. But I wonder if up until that moment the wave has thought there was all of that great and wonderful water, ocean around it. And suddenly realized that it is that the wave itself is that. It is not a consciousness alone. It is the water. It is that great and wonderful thing that surrounds it, that holds it, that pushes it, nudges it. I've had that on my mind all week. Well, since Sunday. And it reminds me to remind me and you that we are surrounded by and immersed in spirit. That we are that. Not separate from it, not different, but that same thing. Oh, Jennifer, thank you, darling. Well, it does make you feel contemplative, doesn't it? When you suddenly realize that you are the wave. And enlightenment is that moment when you get it. You are not a tiny beseeching nothing. You are an expression of, an individualization of, a wave in the ocean that is spirit. Wow! That would be enlightenment. I mean, really getting it. We read it, we listen to it, we say it. Do we get it? Enlightenment is not just understanding it, sort of, or having knowledge of it. It's getting it. Getting it. Really realizing that all that you are is that. It really took my breath. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a wave. And it is then realizing, I think, as we look around ourselves, that all that we are is contained within all that there is. I know the world drags at us trying to get our attention. It pulls and it shrugs and it nudges. And then there are people who do many of those same things. And we allow them to. More than that, we give them permission to, because we love them and we want what's best for them and we want to help them if we can, and that's all good. But I really believe if we spend this time realizing that we are waves in the ocean that is God, that we will find a way to take that with us all of the time. And even if we momentarily forget, it comes back to us because it's the way we think, it's what we believe, it's what we know. For now, perhaps those moments are fleeting, Jennifer. You could absolutely be right. Definitely ephemeral. Difficult to define. Yes, all of that. And yet, if we really allow ourselves, I think we can find a way to make the other moments more fleeting and these more permanent and more real, and the place from which we really live. It takes practice. Prayer, meditation, avenues to get there. Seeking the silence, seeking the secret place, going there expecting to find it. Setting time aside specifically for that journey. Knowing that there really is no map, but that which we know and trust and will surrender to. it's worth the journey. It's worth the time. I mean, don't you already know? I know you do. I know you do. That on those days when you set time aside and say, I'm going to sit in the silence, I'm going to meditate, not necessarily pray, because pray sometimes falls back on those old habits that we have of beseeching the guy up there. But positive, strong, affirmative prayer and meditation where we simply sit in the silence and court the presence. And days go better. Life works better. We are less afraid, we are less confused, we are more powerful. So I think unfortunately, we are taught way, way too soon, if we should be taught ever, to pray to a God out there who may or may not pay attention to what if we just sat in the silence and said, here I am, God, listening. Here I am. What needs to be done? And then, shut up. I know the mind likes to rattle on, and there are all kinds of people up there who would like you to listen to them. But I think you can just explain to them that this is your special time. This is your time with Spirit, and they're uninvited. You're right, Heidi. It's not a punishment. It's a gift. Yeah. Well, Jennifer, I don't know that I would necessarily say that we've been lied to. We've been misinformed by people who believed that it was so the other way. Let us become enlightened. Enlightenment is the moment that the wave realizes it is the water. Don't you love that? I do, obviously. So, affirmative prayer, it's a whole different ballgame, isn't it? Not, please God, give me this or make this happen. But recognizing that the presence is within us, understanding that our word has power, that it is creative, allows us then to speak the truth and watch it come true. So, leading up to that, I just saw Heidi's last one. Yeah, take a time out. Thank you, I will. Thanks for reminding me. Good, yes. Okay, prayer requests. Let me know. Prayer requests. Good point, Dana. Thank you for bringing that up. Some people don't sit in the silence well. Yeah, the monkey mind gets going for a lot of people. So don't sit, walk. Garden. Focused, though. Not just out in the garden with the same monkey brain going. Surrender to the presence, wherever it is you are. Good night sleep works too. Would you like me to pray for that? You have to create the quiet, I think. Got it. See, we can ask for anything. Isn't that funny? I think we put prayer requests into categories, don't we? Oh, this is too dumb to ask God for. No, it's not. If it's on your mind, it's worth it. No, no request too large or too small. And you're only working with the power of the presence within you anyway, not cosmic God. Well, yes, cosmic God, but cosmic God as it individualizes in you, as you, and through you. Ergo, my friends, nothing is too big or too small. Okay, Laura. Oh, I can't wait to hear the closing song. It certainly is the perfect title. Thank you, music department.
You're welcome.
Music department spends a lot of time trying to find just the right songs for us. And I am so grateful. Okay. Good, Brenda. All right. I'm going to start praying because I'm excited about praying tonight. I'd like you to simply be still and know. Close your eyes if that is comfortable for you, or just soft focus. Know that spirit is all that there is. Whatever you can look at or touch or see or feel, all that there is God. There isn't anything else. You aren't anything else. You are an individualization of spirit, just as a wave is an individualization of the water. Wow. Let that just sink in for a moment. God had an idea and became you. And you inherently have the power to speak things into being. That's really the story of Genesis, a reminder that God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And you are that power, that presence, that creative wonder that by your word speaks things into being. And there's a power and a responsibility in that. And so I speak my word knowing that it is, in fact, the word of God. And that what I speak, what I say, what I proclaim is the beginning of a creative process that is eternal and individualized in me, as me, and through me. And so I speak my word tonight for Debbie and claim for her a real estate miracle. The finding of a home for Debbie and Dave, and the perfect property for Moose Lodge, which is a senior dog rescue home on the East Coast. I claim for Kat absolutely positive results for her writing efforts. That magical things begin to happen. Connections are made, the work is appreciated, and the world sees it. For Jennifer, I know discernment, quiet, peaceful time, in which time expands to create the space for her deepest dreams and highest aspirations. For Heidi, I know a good night's sleep. And waking up refreshed, completely prepared, with a clear mind to write an important proposal for work that will be done. I know for Laura a safe trip to Sedona. And upon arrival, I know that she knows what to say and what to do for her cousin. Lovingly, as she always does. And I know the experience is going to deepen her understanding and her enlightenment. And that only good for all concerned comes of it. I know for Brenda that her mind listens to what her heart and her spirit has to say and behaves accordingly. Spirit is in charge. And her body and her mind understand that and obey. I know for Dana, peace of mind, healing, physical healing. It's time. And it's good, and it's all God. I know for this ministry, it's perfect expression. And I know that I am prepared to do what it is Spirit wants to do at the highest level. Whatever that is, I am here, God. Send me. And I know for each of us a deeper understanding tonight. I know that there has been at least a moment of enlightenment, and that that moment lives on eternally. And I thank God for each of you. For the miracles that you will create from your lives, and for the miracle that you create in mine. I thank God for the gifts that each of you is to this thing called life, and for the good that you do and continue to do in this world. And I let go and let God, and let it be so. Let it be so. And so it is. Got it, Heidi. I'll do special prayers for Noreen. That's the Noreen I know, yes? A pleasure. We had Tipsy at the vet today. He was pretty sick, but he seems to be getting better. Okay. Please tell Noreen that I send love and peace, and I will pray for her heart. You are all my family as well, and I am grateful. Oh, Heidi. So we will put Buzz in our prayers too, although he's absolutely going in the right direction. Perhaps we should ask him to take our prayers with him. I love you all. I am grateful for every single one of you. And grateful for the miracles that are happening in your lives right now. Don't forget to listen to the closing song. I somehow know it's perfect. And don't forget Sunday. I'll be back here at noon. And we have to set our clocks back or ahead or something, do we not? Yes. This Sunday, daylight saving time ends. Spring forward, fall back. So we go back on regular time. Set your clocks back an hour. You will lose an hour of sleep, but it's okay. You get it back in the spring. Nobody can take your time away from you, except you. I've wasted hours myself once in a while. I love you. I'll see you Sunday. Take care. You know that you are blessed. Know that you go with God because you can't go any other way. And so it is.